How many of you read a newspaper this morning? Jason, did you?
No, I just want to let you know I did last night's assignment.
Well, right now I'm not interested in last night's assignment.
Man, that's just my luck. When I do it, you ain't interested. You're going to be interested tomorrow in today's assignment.
That you'll find out tomorrow. Now, if you people don't read the newspaper, how do you know what's going on in the world?
I thought this class was history, not current events.
Everything that's in this paper happened yesterday, and yesterday is history. So, starting tomorrow, I want everybody to read the morning paper and be prepared to discuss it.
That includes the comics?
I'll tell you what. You spend a half an hour on the news and editorial section, and after that, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I have that transfer student here I told you about. I was supposed to have a conference with Liz about him.
Be sure to have it today, okay?
Okay.
Brian. Brian Sturgis, this is Mr. Dixon.
Hello, Brian. Come on in. Class, this is Brian Sturgis, the transfer student. Why don't you just have a seat over there? Okay, let's get back to the newspaper. Who can tell me the difference between a straight news story and an editorial?
That's easy. Straight news is how it is, and editorial is how it ain't.
Helen?
A straight news story is a factual account of an event, while an editorial is the opinion of the editor or publisher of the newspaper.
Brian, we're discussing newspapers. Did you happen to read one this morning? Brian? Brian, can I see you a minute? What school did you transfer from? Can you hear me? Did you take history at your other school? What were you studying? Okay, that'll be all.
Painfully shy, withdrawn, attributed to severe stuttering.
No wonder you didn't say a word. What do they mean by severe?
Well, according to what I've read on the subject, they're referring to speech interruptions which can last up to 30 or 40 seconds.
Any speech therapy at his previous school?
It was a small school district. They didn't have any.
No private therapy either, right?
No chance. His parents prefer to think he'll outgrow it.
Oh, you talked to him?
I tried. It's like they're right out of the Dark Ages.
Oh, Brian? Can I talk to you a minute? I bet you know the tops of your shoes like the back of your hands. Brian, I know you stutter. Well, you gotta give me a little credit. When a kid doesn't talk in my class, I just go right to his records. And your records say that you're a severe stutterer. I'd like to judge for myself.
This satisfy your curiosity?
Okay, you got a handicap. But as far as I'm concerned, keeping your mouth shut is not the way to handle it. Look, Brian, I'm not suggesting that you stuff pebbles in your mouth and go out and shout at the ocean.
I'm familiar with Demosthenes.
I figured you were. What about speech therapy?
No, thanks. I tried that once. The guy just told me that I didn't have to stutter if I didn't want to.
Look, Brian, you're at a point in your life when you're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to be a bystander or a participator. Now, I'd like to try and help you become the latter.
How?
Well, we start off small. First thing you do is participate in my class. Oh, there might be a few who may react when they hear you for the first time.
What do I do if they laugh at me?
You ever try laughing back? Come on. Let's dig into history. Take today's front page. I'm sure that you noticed that each story had a byline written by a particular reporter, and others were by AP, UPI, and Reuters. What's that all about? Brian?
AP, UPI, and Reuters are press services. Newspapers. Ouch. Pay a fee to them and are supplied with news stories.
Thank you, Brian.
Hi, mind if I join you?
Sure.
Please do.
Is that your lunch?
That's it. Black coffee.
Are you on some sort of a diet?
I was born on a diet. Inside this lean, incredibly beautiful body is a fat man screaming to get out. You know something? Right now, I could eat every pie in my Uncle Harry's bakery. Let's change the subject. Oh, hey, how's Brian Sturgis doing?
He's doing great. He participated in Pete's class today.
That's great. What was the reaction of the other kids?
Oh, a few breakups, a few snickers. The kid hung right in there.
That's just great.
Hi, gang. Oh, boy, it is marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Fantastic. What?
Oh, the videotape machine. After 3 days, we finally figured out how to work it.
How's it going?
Well, you know, it is going to revolutionize teaching.
You think so, huh?
Well, I don't have to do a critique on the kids. They can do it themselves. Oh, listen, I really have to get back. I just came to invite you all to a small banquet we're having tomorrow night to honor the kids that helped raise the money to buy it.
Small banquet?
You will come, won't you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, how can I refuse?
Good. See you later.
How's everything going?
Just fine.
I thought you handled yourself beautifully yesterday in class.
They started to laugh at me. I got really uptight. I'm sure glad you were there.
Well, that's fine. But what happens when I'm not?
Guess I just have to learn to handle that.
Yeah, I guess you do. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine last night. He's a speech therapist.
What a coincidence.
Isn't it? Anyway, one thing led to another, and I told him about you. He thinks he can help.
My parents would never agree.
Well, maybe if you applied a little pressure and the school applied a little pressure, we might be able to convince him. Anyway, here's his card. His name is Dr. Lubin.
He just happened to give you his card, huh?
Yeah, it's funny the way things happen, isn't it? Oh, Brian, what are you doing now?
I've got a free period.
Well, why don't you drop in on Mrs. Johnson's class? A few of the kids are working on some entertainment for the banquet. They could use some help.
And I could use some more social practice, right?
You said it. I didn't.
Shoot. So I asked my grade advisor if she thought of shoot.
Oh, it's me.
Shoot. Necessary. Shoot. Shoot. If she thought it was necessary to
Look,
take...
Brian, I know I got 20 minutes invested in this story, but I gotta split the English.
But I gotta ask you a question.
Ask me tomorrow. After gym, I got a free period.
Hey, Bob, wait up. I'll walk with you to your class.
Wow. It's a beautiful piece of work.
What do you think?
I think you're right. Nancy should be in a creative writing class.
But how? I mean, she's on that 4-4 program. She doesn't have time for electives.
Well, I think with talent like this, we can find the time. I don't know how yet, but I'll think of something.
You have a very kind heart, Miss McIntyre.
And a rough job, Mr. Dixon. Come in. Whew. You kids look like you're about to confess you just set fire to the school. What's wrong?
It's about Brian.
What about Brian?
Well, Mr. Dixon, we took candid shots of Brian stuttering, and we screened him, and he saw him, and he flipped, so we're sorry.
You mean you taped Brian stuttering and you were going to use it as part of the entertainment?
Well, how could you be so insensitive?
It was just a joke. I took shots of kids doing all kinds of dumb things around school. Got a great one of Mr. Kaufman at the water fountain.
I'm not interested, Mr. Kaufman. But I am concerned about Brian.
But Mr. Dixon, if we didn't shoot anything on Brian, he could feel left out. This way he belongs.
Don't give me that. Don't you kids know the difference between fun and ridicule?
Well, you were the one who sent him down there in the first place, Mr. Dixon.
Well, at that time, I had no idea what fun you had in store for him. Well, one thing's for certain. That sequence of Brian is going to be edited out of that tape.
Grade advisor, if she thought it was
Alice?
necessary...
How'd you let that happen?
Take...
Look, Pete, I didn't let this happen. I didn't even know about it. The kids went out on their own and shot this, and the first time I saw it was when Brian saw it.
But you're the one who's responsible for that thing. You should have made sure of what they were doing.
Look, I know. What can I say? I'm editing the tape now.
It's a little late for that, isn't it?
What else do you want me to do? You know, you're the one who sent Brian down here in the first place.
But that doesn't change anything.
You know, I feel as bad about this as you do.
I doubt it. Look, Alice, I'm sorry. You're right. I sent Brian to you. I apologize. And while apologies are in order, I guess I'd better go apologize to the one who needs it the most. Have any of you kids seen Brian?
Oh, we saw him. We tried to explain and apologize, but just bugged out.
We're really sorry, Mr. Dixon. We didn't think he'd take it the way he did.
I'm sure he did. I guess none of us gave it enough thought, did we? Yes, you say that as a joke. Can I have your attention, please? If you guys hold down the noise, I will hold down the speech.
Works every time.
We all know why we're here. We're here to congratulate both Miss Johnson and those students who did such a wonderful job of raising the money to buy this audio-visual equipment. I'm very proud of you. That ends my participation. That didn't hurt, did it? On with the entertainment.
All right, Bernie, I think we're ready.
Pete, cover the machine. I'll try to turn off the sprinkler.
Who looks funny now?
Very clever. How'd you do it, Brian?
I'm a smart kid. Remember, Mr. Dixon?
You're a smart kid, all right. Did you have fun? Did you get your kicks?
I think it was a pretty good joke.
Sure it was. You ruined the party, you got your petty revenge on some people who really meant you no harm, and you might have damaged that machine. Come in here. Brian, what you just did stunk. Now, none of us are to blame for your stuttering. We might be to blame for embarrassing you. We tried to apologize, but you weren't man enough to accept our apologies.
You couldn't find the words to apologize for what you did to me.
Probably not, because you're too caught up in your own self-pity to hear them.
What would you know about it? Do you know what it's like to just want to say good morning or tell a joke or tell some girl you like her? But you can't because you're afraid that they'll laugh in your face or run off in the middle of a sentence. Do you know what it's like to want to make a simple phone call? Do you know what any of that's like? Because I'll be happy to give it a name, Mr. Dixon. It's called agony. It's called... Hey, did you hear me just then?
I guess all we have to do is keep you mad all the time, huh? Come on.
To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep, to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. How about that, the first stuttering Hamlet?
That's very good.
Well, not exactly what Shakespeare had in mind, but a pretty good Brian Sturgis.
You should hear me on the telephone. I call the information operator 25 times a day.
Why, you have something going with the telephone company?
No, it's an exercise a doctor happened to give me.
Well, I'm glad you just happened to run into him.
Yeah, well, sometimes things just work out like that.
right, now tell me this. We talked about the anti-settlement law earlier in the term when we were into the Texas Revolution. Does that relate to what we're talking about now?
Yes, that's it exactly. The majority didn't agree with the rulers, and they were justified.
Bernie, what do you think?
Oh, I think I don't remember what the anti-settlement law was.
Larry.
It was a law disputed in 1830 when the Mexican government tried to stop more settlement, and the Texans wouldn't stop. Led to a whole lot of fighting.
Do they have the right to refuse? After all, it was a law.
Yeah, that's right. It was a law.
Well, so what? It was a bad law.
Oh, so you think if a law is bad, you can disobey it, huh?
Right.
Hey, man, wake up.
Mr. Dixon?
Charlie.
They didn't think, they knew. The Texans proved it.
Sure did. They won the revolution, didn't they?
You're a little late, aren't you, Jason?
That's what I kept telling Mr. Casey, but he didn't pay no attention.
Well, if you had to go to the vice principal's office, must have been some reason.
Yeah, he thought it was one.
Okay, where were we?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh, Pam, you said that the early settlers proved that it was a bad law by winning. Does that mean that if they had lost, it would have been a good law? Oh, thank you. Charlie, Mr. Casey wants to see you.
Right now?
That's what it says. Larry, you had your hand up? Larry.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, we'll continue this discussion tomorrow.
I'm sorry I was late today, Mr. Dixon.
Well, I have to admit, you did spend a long time at Mr. Casey's office. Can I help?
Yeah, you can help me catch a fiend. Somebody told Casey I was in the chemistry lab making perfume. Now I got 2 weeks detention.
Perfume in the chem lab?
Yeah, see, it's this little chick, you know, and I've been making perfume for her, and it was a little accident.
Little accident?
It wasn't much of an explosion, and I cleaned it all up. But I didn't think anybody was around. But somebody told Casey.
Maybe Casey saw it happen.
No, it wasn't no one there. There's so much thinking going on in this school, man. You gotta wait in line for Casey to get at you.
The traffic in and out of his office is rather brisk.
Brisk ain't the word for it. It's congested. And when I find out who's responsible for this, I'm gonna pop some fink upside his head.
Suppose you hit the wrong guy by mistake. Jason, you may find out that revenge is not as sweet as you think it is. Take it easy, okay? Arnie?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dixon.
What's the matter?
Well, I'm working nights. See, I got into some trouble and I'm trying to make it up.
What kind of trouble?
Well, I had to finish my biology project and I'm trying to do a real good job. So I borrowed a microscope from the lab.
Oh, boy.
I was gonna bring it right back. It was stolen from my car. Well, I got a job right away. And only one more week and I'll have all the money to pay it back.
Has anybody missed it yet?
No. It's kept in a special case. Only advanced students are allowed to use it. Please don't tell Mr. Casey. I've got a scholarship hanging on my grades, Mr. Dixon.
I know. One more week.
That's it. And believe me, I've learned my lesson.
I hope you have.
Now, you said you saw the suspect hanging around the hall outside the chemistry lab at the time in question, right?
Right. But I was at the end of the hall.
Nevertheless, you said he was a male Caucasian about the age of 16, right?
Right. And he was wearing a red shirt.
Hey, Bernie got a red shirt.
Well, so do you, man.
Well, I ain't no male Caucasian, brother, or haven't you noticed?
Some people will use anything for an alibi.
Oh, it wasn't Bernie. This boy had hair like... hair.
So what have I got?
Never mind, man. We got business to take care of.
Hey, everybody. Everybody got it already.
What's that,
Oh,
Bear?
look, got 5 noses, 3 eyes, 6 hairdos, and 2 mouths.
What about the ears?
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
Never mind. Hey, dig. Now, this is what is called our dinner kit. All we do is put the spare parts together till we make up Helen's suspect. Okay, here's copies of our guide. Find them.
Poor guy.
Find them.
Okay.
Find them.
Hey, Jason.
What's happening, Victor?
Hey, I sure dug the way you played in that basketball game last week.
Thanks, man.
Hey, you want to get some lunch or something?
Oh, man, I got some business to take care of. I'll see you later.
Hey, Arnie. Yeah, that was a great report you did in Miss Johnson's class.
Oh, yeah? Thanks.
Hey, I was just gonna get some ice cream. Do you want some?
Oh, yeah.
Save it, man. I got it.
Casey, Mr. Walker. Hey? Casey, what's going on? The traffic between my class and your office is starting to look like a freeway.
Well, maybe you ought to keep a closer eye on your class.
It's not that easy. You got them coming and going so fast, I may need a revolving door.
Something I ought to know about?
Oh, no. Nothing I can't handle.
Pete, let's have lunch.
I can't. I got something to do. I'll see you later.
Okay, but I do want to see your first free period, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me. Arnie, I want to see you.
Casey is strict, yes. Hard-nosed, okay. But I don't know about unfair, Alice.
Well, he's unfair to me.
Why?
Because they're going to have the best disciplined bunch of failing students in this school. He keeps interrupting my classwork, pulling them out of class.
Now that's unfair.
Yeah. What's this? Mutton and aspic, I think.
How can you tell?
Liz McIntyre, some of this happens to be very good food.
Yeah, well, which is and which ain't?
Alice, is this the first time you substituted in home ec?
Well, yes, but I think I'm developing quite a little talent for it.
Well, maybe we can have lunch again when you're sure.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Thank you very much.
Arnie, what's the matter?
Mr. Casey knows all about the microscope. I'm on probation, and it'll probably go on my record. You're the only one I told.
Arnie, I never said a word.
I trusted you, Mr. Dixon, and you turned me in.
Pete, you just drove past your stop. Don't we have an appointment right now?
Oh, yeah, I know, but I gotta go see Casey about something important. Can I meet with you later?
You can meet with me later, but be a little gentle with him, will you, Pete? He's delicate.
Don't worry, I only plan to ask him a few questions.
I know about Arnie. Have you tried talking to the kid first?
Yeah, but it didn't do any good. Now I want to find out from Casey where he's been getting his information.
You think he's going to tell you?
I don't know, but I'm sure going to try and find out.
Pete, if Casey's out of line, that's my concern. I'll handle it.
The trust of those kids is my concern.
Pete, I'll handle it. Come on. Let's keep our appointment.
Why do I get the feeling that you know everything that goes on in this school?
Because I do.
Man, if you knew what you was talking about, you wouldn't know what you was talking about.
I'm telling you, everybody knows.
And I'm telling you got the wrong cat. Mr. Dixon don't need to be sneaking around.
No, doesn't everyone say we don't trust anyone over 30? Well, he's a teacher over 30, isn't he?
Oh, no, look, that might sound right, but I can't go for that.
Here's Arnie. He'll tell you. Hey, these kids been spreading the word that Mr. Dixon turned you in. Tell him the truth, man.
He did turn me in.
Okay, break it up. Everybody take a seat. Yesterday when the bell rang, we were discussing laws. Do you ever think that there's a legitimate reason to disobey a law? Nancy. Didn't you start to say something yesterday?
I've been thinking a lot about what we said, and it really connects with what's happening now. It's relevant, you know.
Is it? How, Charlie? Thanks, Jason, but I'd like to hear from someone else. John? Emmeline? Arnie?
First, we sprinkle in a little of this gray powder.
Ooh, what's it smell?
That's out of roses. It's been in everything in the chemistry lab. Oh, Helen, you better be go getting in your place now.
Okay, good luck.
Cool, be cool.
Who you got for suspects?
I got it narrowed down to Charlie, Sam, and Arnie.
Arnie? But wasn't he one of the victims?
You know a better way to get the suspicion off yourself? Now, that Charlie always wearing dark glasses. What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Now, if you ask me, that Sam is really the one to watch, man.
How come?
Because he look guilty all the time.
Well, maybe he's just scared because you keep following him around all day.
Never mind that, man. Let's get set up, okay?
Okay. Now, if the oven's lit and the suspects are deployed outside, then what?
Then when you set this oven off, man, pow!
Wait a minute. Why do I set it off and off?
Because you're the right type.
What makes me the right type?
Because you're smaller than me. Anyway, it's about time. Good luck, man. Good luck.
Good luck.
Hey, Jason. What are you doing? Will you wait till they get here? They're coming, man. They're coming now. They're coming. Oh!
Oh, no! Jason and Bernie, fight! Jason and fire! Oh,
Bernie, you overdoing it.
Who's overdoing it? You're killing me.
Oh, look, it's Larry! Boy, is he gonna get in trouble. Let's get out of here.
That was beautiful, man.
I thought you said nothing would happen.
Nothing did. The oven's fired.
Well, my eyebrows aren't. They're gone.
You're right, man. One of them made a beeline for Casey's office.
Did you get there in time to see who it was?
I sure did, and it wasn't one of your suspects.
Hey, Victor.
Oh, hi, Jason. Can I get you something?
You already did, man. 2 weeks detention.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you know as well as I do, man, what I'm talking about.
I don't. What's the matter with you?
Don't jive, man. I want to know why.
Jason, I'm sorry.
Man, you some kind of a weird two-timing dude. Go around buying people everything you see in sight, letting your light shine all over the place. But the first chance you get, you break to the vice principal office, and you sell out. And I want to know why you do this, man.
Well, Jason, see, I like you, and I wanted you to like me. Ever since I came to school, I've been trying to make friends, but it's hard for me. I'm just not like you.
You still haven't answered my question, man. Why'd you think to Casey?
Well, I got in trouble, just like you did. Casey said he'd let me off if I'd help him out. I didn't want to do it. He made me do it, Jason. He hired me.
Casey hired him?
That's what he said.
Excuse me.
She needs help, not punishment. Her home life is in a mess. Why don't you let me talk to her?
All right, if you want to give it a try, I'll hold off. Is that the last of them?
That's it.
Casey, I want to talk to you.
Well, you seem to be upset, Mr.
Did you hire Victor O'Brien as an informer?
No, I did not.
He said you did.
Get Victor O'Brien in here, please. Well, you went for it again, didn't you, Dixon? These kids can tell you anything, you'll believe it.
You didn't answer my question. Have you been using him as an informer?
In a manner of speaking, yes. But I never hired anyone. When a boy comes to me with information, if it'll help keep order in this school, I use it.
You may keep order, but what about his character and self-esteem?
You don't sit in this office, Pete. I've got a job to do and judgments to make. I got to worry about kids parking illegally and other kids pushing speed. Now, I don't need or care for informers about parking. But if I can save a kid from an overdose of narcotics or a pregnant girl from committing suicide, I'll take that kind of information from anyone. Now, would you rather I didn't?
I'd rather you found another way.
Like what?
I don't know, but there's got to be some kind of way to be able to...
Come in. Victor, did I ever hire you or force you to tell me anything? Well, did I?
No, Mr. Casey.
Satisfied? All right, Victor, you can go now.
All right, he lied. But they all don't lie. Some would like to tell the truth if there was an atmosphere of trust which your methods prevent.
Dixon, will you never learn? There's a whole world...
Stop it! Look, neither of you is going to be convinced. If a life's at stake, sure, you have to do anything to save it. But at the same time, you can't go around turning students against each other. You can't make them live with the suspicion that any and everything they do is going to be reported. Discipline is fine, but not as a tool to destroy trust.
Excuse me, but it looks like there's going to be trouble. You better come quick.
So what's it gonna be?
Man, that's what you call touch and go.
If anybody touched me, I've been gone.
Jason, how come you did that?
Something Mr. Dixon said.
What?
He said you gotta figure out why some people do something. And I think I figured you out, man.
Yeah, well, Jason, I lied to you, too.
I know you did.
You do? Well, how?
I got you all figured out in my head.
Yeah, but why wouldn't...
To make me feel good, man. See, I'm the cat that really figured out it was you. And I don't want to be responsible for you getting leaned on when I'm not around to watch out for you.
Don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, I do. You know, those guys are in there, and they're going to come after us. Can we please go? Thank you very much.
Long day, huh?
Mr. Dixon, I just paid off the microscope, $72.90. I'm still on probation, but it's not going on my record.
That's great, Arnie. Arnie, do me a favor, will you? From now on, do your biology projects in the lab.
You bet.
See you.
Hey, Arnie.
Yeah?
Hey, I just wanted to tell you that, I'm sorry for what I did. If there was any way I could make it up to you, I would.
Okay, forget it.
Hey, you want to go get something to eat? Come on, I'll buy. That is, do you want to go get a pizza with me?
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry myself.
You know, it's been a long day. But it's been a good day.
Yeah, I feel better, too.
Are you hungry? Now that you mention it, you buying?
Who, me? No.
That's what I like about you, Pete. You're so secure. See you, Harry.
morning.
Hi, Peter. Excuse me. I'm glad I caught you before you went to your first class.
So am I. Let's grab a cup of coffee.
We don't have time.
What do you mean we don't have time? 20 minutes before school starts.
Yes, but our meeting with Mr. Kaufman starts right now.
Meeting? What meeting?
The meeting Mr. Kaufman and I decided we should have with you this morning before your new student gets here.
I can't fit another student into my homeroom.
I know.
I've got kids in there now that need my individual attention, and I can't give it to them because I don't have time. You know, I get the feeling that I've made the speech before.
You did. Last week this time.
When we asked you to sponsor the debate club.
Then why?
Pete, because everyone's classes are overcrowded. I get this same speech from all of my teachers, the ones that care.
But this student is very special, and we thought he should be in your class.
Why is he special?
Because his coming here is part of an experimental program being sponsored by an organization called Opportunity for Youth.
The program's designed to help kids who are advanced but are held back by their circumstances.
I guess you might say Billy Sosi is the test case.
Billy
Sosi.
Sosi.
Billy is a Navajo Indian from a reservation in Utah. There's a family in our school district that's sponsoring him. Now, from all the reports I've read, he's overcome a lot of obstacles, and he's really an exceptional student.
Pete, I've got great hopes for this program. I know if it works here, other schools will pick it up.
That's why we put him in your class.
Okay, what were some of the other problems the settlers encountered moving west? Frank?
Yeah, well, most of those dudes were from the city and couldn't take that long, hard trip. And a lot of them died on the way. So you might say death was a problem.
Well, yeah. Sometimes the kids lost their parents on the way and had to do the best they could on their own.
True. Oh, man. If you fellas have something to add to the discussion, why don't you share it with the rest of us?
Well, we were just agreeing on what Helen had to say.
No. What did Helen say?
Well, I really didn't hear that well, but I certainly do agree on all points.
Come on, man. We can't jive the cat. Mr. Dixon, what we was trying to do is straighten out something we heard this morning.
What's that, Jason?
Oh, we heard that it was going to be this new cat coming to the school, and he was a real Navajo Indian.
Yeah, he can give us the Indian side of all that stuff we've been studying.
I'm glad to see you guys looking forward to his joining the class.
Yeah, 'cause it ain't too cool learning about the frontier out of all those textbooks, and that Indian can tell us like it really was.
Excuse me, Mr. Dixon? Come on.
He's got better timing than the cavalry.
This is Billy Sosi. Billy, I'll see you later.
Come on in, Billy. We have a seat for you right behind Bernie there.
That's me.
Billy, we were discussing the period after 1865 and the push toward the west by the settlers. I hope that you'll have something to add to it.
Hey, yeah, tell us what you think about the settlers trying to civilize the Indians.
Yeah, what did you think about that?
Yeah, tell us the truth, man.
Wait a minute. Don't you think we ought to give Billy a little time to get settled first?
Billy, I know you'll like Whitman a lot. The kids are really friendly.
Say, we're going to save you a place at lunch, okay?
Yeah.
See you then.
Yeah, and if you have any problems, just let us know, okay?
Hey, man, where's your next class?
English, Miss Johnson.
Hey, man, that's my next class, too.
Oh, yeah?
Man, I'll show you where it's at. Come on.
Oh, Billy. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks.
Hey, Billy, over here.
Hey, man, have a seat. We've been saving you a place.
Yeah, man, jump on in, man.
How you doing? Kemosabe? Huh? Kemosabe is a Lone Ranger. I thought it was an Indian word.
It's not a Navajo word.
Well, it just goes to show you, never trust the Lone Ranger.
How are your classes, Billy?
They're okay, I guess. Except they're very far ahead of where I was at the reservation school.
Oh, yeah? What's the reservation school like?
But
Hey, yeah, what did you major in? War paint?
it's just a school.
Why don't you speak a little Indian for us? Say, man, why don't you get off it?
I'm only kidding.
Hey, Billy, where'd you get the silver belt?
My uncle made it.
Do you dress like that on the reservation?
Huh? Well, what she means is, nobody dresses like that unless they're on a reservation.
I did not mean that.
You want me to speak Indian?
Yeah.
The geese.
Hey, what does that mean?
It means you're crazy.
Hey, wait a minute, I didn't mean anything. Hey, I was just joking.
Scott!
I can't help it if you can't take a joke.
Man, you wouldn't know a joke if it came up and hit you in your mouth.
Hey, Billy. I'm sorry for what I said at lunch today. I have a habit of saying stupid things, you know, just for a laugh.
Forget it. By the mid-1880s, Indian wars had ceased, and most of the Indians were gathered on the reservation. Pam, the Dawes Act of 1887, how did it tie into this period of history?
Well, it said that every Indian was entitled to some land from the government. The head of a family could claim as much as 160 acres.
160 acres? They're rich. Yeah, but the government didn't give the Indians the land. They just sort of let them use it.
You couldn't sell it or use it as security for a mortgage or anything.
But wasn't that supposed to protect the Indian from land speculators and other people who were trying to take advantage of them?
Let's hear it for Big Brother Sam.
Yeah, it's like the government gave the Indians their own private little reservations.
Billy, what do you think?
Huh?
I said the Dawes Act was designed to protect the Indian. Do you think it did that?
Sure. I mean, that's what the book says, isn't it?
Just giving a man a piece of land doesn't make him free. I mean, it was their land in the first place.
Then what was the purpose of the Dawes Act?
To Americanize the Indian.
How do you Americanize somebody who's already an American?
Yeah, they should have been Americanizing the pale face.
It's a very interesting point, Jason. Billy, do you think the Dawes Act helped or hurt the American Indian?
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, either I said something wrong, which is kind of hard to do with just hi, or you just lost your best friend.
Not a friend, but I may have lost a student.
Who?
Billy Solsi.
Oh, no, Pete, what's wrong?
I'm not sure. I can't get him to respond in class. Oh, he answers all of my questions, but the answers are right out of a book. I know he has opinions, but he refuses to give them.
Don't tell me. You're talking about Billy Sosi, right?
Not you, too.
Can't get him to say much in my class either. And you know what else?
I'm afraid to ask.
I don't think he has any friends.
I've noticed that. You know, when he first came to this school, the kids couldn't wait to get at him. Now they hardly pay any attention to him at all. Except for Jason.
Jason?
Yeah, they're together all the time.
Well, then at least he has one friend.
Yeah.
Jason may be his friend, but as far as Billy is concerned, he's alone. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Jason, you go about 5 and then you go to the sideline, all right? Frank, you go 3 steps and turn around. I don't want to hear anything. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Hey, man, wait a minute. You forgot to tell Billy where he goes.
So who cares?
Hey, man, tell him where to go.
Just go on.
Hey!
calling you Soaring Eagle, the fastest redskin on the block.
That's not very funny.
Woo! Hey, circle the wagon. He's on the war band.
Take that back.
Hey, man, what do you mean?
I said take that back.
Hey, man, what are you talking about? I didn't say nothing for you to get mad. Come on.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, man, what's wrong with you? Hey, man, what take that back? Come on, hey, man. Man.
All right.
Man, look. I don't want to. Come on, Come on, man. Come on. Don't fight it. Hey, man. Guess you could say it was my fault, Mr. Kaufman.
You hit him first.
Well, that's not exactly the way it went. But still, it was my fault. I said something to him that made him lose his cool. That's why he jumped on me.
I don't need your help. I started it, okay? And I don't need him or anyone else to take the blame.
Billy, Jason was just trying to be your friend.
He's always trying to help with everything. Show me to my classes. You take up for me in front of the other kids. You even tried to make me fit in with the others. Let me tell you something. I can take care of myself. I've done it all my life, and I can do it now.
Oh, Billy? Billy?
Just a minute. Why'd you do that to Jason? The only thing that he's guilty of is trying to be your friend.
He wasn't trying to be my friend. He's just like all the rest of them.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, the only reason he ever paid any attention to me, the only reason any of them ever paid any attention to me, is because I'm an Indian. A novelty. Well, I'm tired of being the Indian.
Wait a minute. You didn't give me a chance to say I was sorry yesterday.
Hey, were you going to a rain dance?
Come on, man. What are you trying to prove? Why you dress up like that?
What did you want me to wear? Everyone wants me to look like something out of a John Wayne movie. But I didn't want to disappoint them.
Man, you some kind of a weird dude. Everybody in this school try to be your friend, and all you do is get all bent out of shape.
I don't have any friends here.
You better believe it, man. It's because you won't let them. That's why.
What would you know about it? When has anybody ever stared at you because you were different? When has anybody ever not accepted you for what you are?
You're something else, man. You know that. Where do you think I come from, man? An ice cream factory? You want to know what it's like where I come from? What am I standing here talking to you for? If you can't recognize a brother, you're sure not going to be able to recognize a friend.
Wants to drop out of the program. He wants to go back to the reservation school.
Did you ask him why?
He wouldn't tell me. He just says he doesn't belong here.
What about that family he's living with? Have you spoken to them?
Yes, I did. They want to help. But it's like Billy's built a wall around himself.
Oh, there's got to be something we can do. This program is so important. I don't want to see it just go down the drain. Billy is one of a few test cases. He's... Will you listen to me? Test cases. He's not just a test case. He's a young boy. And he's given up.
Well, maybe he hasn't totally given up.
I tried every way I know to reach him. He wouldn't open up to me. You're welcome to try, Pete.
nice out here, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
You mind if we talk a little? You missed a lot of classes today.
Yeah. I've been sitting here looking at the sky. Sometimes when I look at the sky, it reminds me of home.
That where you wish you were now?
Yeah, I guess so. It's funny, you know, when I was a little kid, I used to like living on the reservation. I grew a little older and it seemed like all there was dirt. I thought if I could just get away from there, I'd really be free. So I worked real hard at school, so that if I ever got the chance, I could go someplace else, you know? Be something. A somebody. When the program picked me, I thought, wow, I've really got it made now. I might as well be back with my people. I thought things would be different for me. I thought I could change the way things are. But I was wrong.
You know something, Billy? Coming here to Whitman isn't a way for you to escape. It's a way for you to do something positive. Now, if you fail or give up, don't blame it on the way things are. Blame it on yourself. You see, I think the only one who's worried about your being an Indian is you.
What do you mean? I'm proud to be a Navajo.
Then why aren't you standing up in class telling those kids about it? They're not asking you questions about the reservation to get you mad. They're interested. They want to know about your people, what they have to say. Now, if you're as proud as you say you are, you tell them.
Want to go get it? Good morning, Mr. Dixon.
Oh, good morning, good morning. Okay. Yesterday we were talking about the Americanization of the Indian in the latter part of the 19th century. Now, can anybody tell me...
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Dixon.
Glad you could make it. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me some of the problems that arose in trying to assimilate the Indian into the American lifestyle?
Yeah. I can't see why it would be so hard when the government just gave them the land.
Billy?
You have to understand that for generations, the Indian had been taught a different concept of land than the white man. I mean, to the Indian, land was like water or air or sunshine. He just didn't understand how someone could own that.
But I thought the Burke Act of 1906 gave the Indian the opportunity to own his own land.
No, you don't understand. You see, there was nothing in the Indians' tradition that had prepared them to be individual farmers. And those that were ready to make a change in their way of life were usually given the worst possible kind of farmland. To the Indian, land was almost sacred.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, wait up. How about to say I'm sorry for jumping you the other day?
That's okay, man. No hard feelings.
Well, looks like Billy really has a new friend now.
Yep, I'd say so.
Yeah, you know, I knew he'd work out just fine as soon as he settled into things. I figure he's just going through a phase.
You did, huh?
Sure, he just had to learn to adapt to a new environment. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, no matter who you are or where you come from, you can fit in right here at Walt Whitman High.
Alice, you're going to be late for class.
Oh, you're right. Hey, see you later. Bye.
Ever since we've been discussing the 1920s, a couple of words keep cropping up. One of them is prohibition. I'm sure everybody knows what that means.
All them law-abiding citizens that couldn't abide by the law.
The other is prosperity. The Coolidge prosperity, the Hoover prosperity. Paul, what does that word mean?
Well, when something prospers, it grows quicker than anybody expects it to.
Like Bernie's hair.
Anyway, in the 1920s, everything seemed to be growing bigger, better, and faster.
Right. 2 cars in every garage, 2 chickens in every pot.
That's right. But we can't talk about prosperity and ignore the stock market. Now, you remember during the 19th century, the big dream was finding gold. Then it was oil. Well, in the 20s, the stock market seemed to offer everybody a chance to get rich quick just by phoning a broker.
That's how everybody ended up. Broker.
Almost everybody.
How could so many people be suckered into a deal like that?
Well, prosperity is more than just dollars and cents. It's a state of mind.
It just doesn't seem real.
It doesn't seem real to you because it was 40 years ago, and you've never been in a situation like that.
Mr. Dixon, I don't ever expect to be.
I wouldn't be too sure. You see, I have this little project in mind. I want each of you to take $1,000, an imaginary $1,000, and invest it in the market.
My broker just jumped out of the window.
You'll find all the stocks listed in here and in your newspapers. So check them out, call a brokerage house, do some research, then invest your $1,000.
There's just one thing to know, Mr. Dixon.
And what might that be, Jason?
Don't nobody beat the system.
I was just reading that a frown takes twice as many muscles as a smile.
My muscles can use the exercise. This thing is incredible.
School budget?
No, it's an operational analysis of Walt Whitman. But the absenteeism,
Is it that bad?
it's up 5%.
I didn't realize there were that many kids out of school.
Kids? What kids? I'm talking about faculty absenteeism.
Attention, please. Will the following students please report at once to the assistant principal? Abernathy, Code, Rabbit, Slink, Carson, Kenyon, Knott, Pond, Sontkin, Jones, and Lefkowitz.
Oh, those guys, they're always in trouble.
Shall we start the meeting?
What'll somebody trade me for a hard-boiled egg?
A piece of celery.
I call the meeting of the junior class gift committee to order.
Oh, come on. Won't somebody make me a better deal for this delicious, nutritious hen fruit?
A half a baked bean sandwich?
Treasurer's report.
Mr. Chairman, as of this date, the gift fund treasury has $479.33.
The following students will report at 1:30 to the athletic field. Hawley, Jackson, Ingalls, Locke, and Merritt. This announcement will not be repeated.
$476.25 has been earmarked for the class gift, a 20-volume set of encyclopedias of science, leaving a balance of $3.08.
Oh, come on, somebody. I hate hard-boiled eggs.
Tuna salad on whole wheat.
It's a deal.
Okay. Look, I had a summit meeting with Miss Schultz in the school library, and she agreed to find room for the gift.
Find room?
Yes, even if it means moving her bound copies of Popular Mechanics.
Well, big deal.
You see, not even the library wants the books.
Look, the encyclopedia is a very worthwhile gift.
Do you know what the junior class at Halstead is giving their school? An air purifier. Every time somebody takes a breath over there, they're going to remember who bought it.
Boy, who'll remember us?
All them people who couldn't find the bound copies of Popular Mechanics.
Look, an air purifier is very expensive.
I just wish there was something.
This is your principal speaking. I'm asking all students to please stop dropping empty lunch bags in the halls and use the cans provided. Thank you.
Hey, why don't we buy an intercom for the school?
That's something we really need.
Now that would be appreciated.
I know this guy who knows a guy, and I'm sure we can get a discount.
Yeah, but I thought it was all settled.
Well, what do we got to lose, Miss Johnson?
I move to Larry talks to the guy who knows the guy.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Crazy.
I bet you don't know.
Okay, how's everybody doing on the stock market? Helen?
I'm about $25 ahead.
That must be the $25 I lost.
How about you, Jason?
I can't get with the whole thing, man. It doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
If you really buying, man, you pick up a telephone. You call a man. You may have never met him before. And you say, buy me some stock.
Okay.
Okay, that's what he says. Now you're on part of some company.
Right.
Okay, 2 days later, man, that same part of that same company ain't even worth half as much.
Oh, that happens.
How can that be?
Well, the company is probably worth the same as it was before. But what's changed is the people's judgment of that worth.
That same part of that same company could be worth twice as much, too.
Not if I'm holding, man.
How have you been doing, Paul?
I guess you'd say I'm bullish, Mr. Dixon.
Why?
Well, I talked to a couple of brokers and my uncle at the bank. From what they told me and from what I read, I made my investments. So far, I've got a total profit of $547.
Made that in 1 week?
Miss Johnson, in just a few days of playing the stock market, Paul has made over $600.
On paper.
Yeah, but what does the stock market have to do with our gift committee?
Well, if you can do it with funny money, why not the real thing?
Yeah, for the quality income system the size we need is going to cost over $900.
That's nearly twice as much money as we have.
Yeah, but what happened to the guy you know who knew a guy?
That guy doesn't know him anymore.
We don't have a lot of time to make that much money. But to go into the stock market to raise money is just out of the question.
Sure the figures, Pa. He's made more than $50 in the past 2 hours just sitting in class.
Wait, you have? Well, now wait. It is your money, and you raised it. You have the right to decide what to do with it.
We've decided.
Now, look, I don't deny that it would be nice to have a new intercom. Or if you would have invested your money last week, you'd have enough money this week to buy it. I mean, it's a marvelous surprise. I mean, nobody'd expect a new intercom, but...
But what, Miss Johnson?
But I am your faculty advisor. And I think I better get some advice. Hi. Hey, I need some advice.
You've come to the fountainhead.
Shall we take turns? Look, I'm very interested in the stock market.
The stock market? Have you been talking to some of the kids in my class?
As a matter of fact, yes.
I think everybody should know something about the stock market.
Do you really think so, Mr. Kaufman?
You may quote me.
I finally got into a mutual fund.
I think at your age, you ought to diversify your portfolio. Hedge with a few blue chips. Include some long-term capital gains, but don't confine yourself to one exchange. Keep an eye out for over-the-counter buys.
Over-the-counter?
A stock's not listed on the big exchanges.
And don't forget tax-free bonds.
Are all those things better than mutual funds?
No.
Golly, you sound like a man who really knows the stock market, Mr. Kaufman.
My brother-in-law's a broker.
Oh, hey, I've got a class, but I can't tell you how much help you've been. Especially you, Mr. Kaufman.
I had no idea you were such an expert. Are you really making money at it?
Well, I've never lost any money. Of course, I've never actually bought any stocks either.
Listen. We're all interested in the environment, right?
Right.
Okay, now here's a stock called Rare Air.
Now, just wait a minute. I mean, I'm interested in the environment and in peace and in women's lib, but right now I'm interested in buying a stock that's going to double our money fast, right?
I think we should invest the whole thing in Will Groco.
Will Groco?
Sounds like a fertilizer.
It's a small company specializing in pipe fittings. My uncle at the bank has some inside information. Will Groco is about to merge with one of the big oil companies.
And when the news come out, in orbit it goes, right?
My uncle thinks we can double or triple our money in the next couple of weeks, if we buy now at $10 a share.
Setting up for me, man.
Well, let's buy it.
Right.
It's unanimous.
Not with me, it ain't.
Come on, Jason.
Hey, I didn't ask to be on this committee.
Well, you're on it, so vote.
I vote no.
Yes!
Well, that's the system.
Miss Johnson, on behalf of the junior class, we hereby authorize you to put our money into the market.
All right. I guess we don't have too much to lose,
Only $479.33.
Everybody. The Bama State Style Marathon. Saturday at noon. Only on Aspire.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Kaufman.
Good morning.
The Wall Street Journal. Boring from within. Clever.
Today's market opened sluggish with the Dow Jones down 3 points in light trading. Industrials down 0.07, transportation down 2.36.
You really got those kids interested in the stock market. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Attention, all members of the junior class gift committee. Special noon meeting in Miss Johnson's room. This is an emergency.
What's the matter with Alice?
Well, being class gift advisor has been known to do that to teachers.
I see.
A drop of 2 1/8 in one day.
Wow, do you know what that means in dollars and cents?
Means we've lost $100.
Only if we sell.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, that's double talk. I'm no genius, but I know 350 less than 450.
Wait a minute. My uncle told me that a drop like this isn't unusual. You've got to look at the big picture.
I've looked at the big picture, and I see us being chased out of town by the junior class.
I guess we gotta sell, huh?
I think that'd be a mistake.
If we sell now, we can't even buy the encyclopedia.
We can always get a 10-year subscription to the Wall Street Journal.
Now I know why people jumped out of windows in 1929.
Now, wait. This is no time for panic.
It's as good a time as any, Miss Johnson.
I ain't gonna say I told you so, but I sure did.
Hey, Miss Johnson, are you going to get in trouble with Mr. Kaufman?
Mr. Kaufman. Why didn't I think of him? Hey, I bet he'll know what to do in any stock market crisis. Terrific.
You know, this whole stock market business would never have occurred to the committee if it hadn't been for my class.
But you didn't actively participate in the speculation with the gift fund, did you?
No. But anyway, I'm here for moral support.
I admire a man who stays with a sinking ship. Miss Johnson, why didn't you just confide in somebody before you bought this Rococo or whatever it is?
Well, I was going to, but it all seemed like it would be such a nice surprise. And you seemed to think investing was really a good idea. And then if a man with your experience in the stock market thought that, then the bell rang.
Wait a minute. My experience in the stock market?
But all the things you said.
Oh, my. I led you on, right? Miss Johnson, my experience in the stock market consists of listening very carefully to my brother-in-law, the broker, until I fall asleep. Then when I wake up, if I have an urge to invest one dime, I go back to sleep again until the temptation goes away. All right. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
You're not?
Well, I can't. It's the student's money. But I'm certain that you, as a responsible member of my faculty, will advise the right thing. Sell.
Sell?
Well, while you still have enough money left to buy 10 volumes of the encyclopedia.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Alice Johnson, the plunger of Wall Street.
No, Will Groco. W-I-L-G-R-O-C-O. Can't find the quotations. Probably dropped right off the board.
Don't lose your enthusiasm.
I already have in the stock market. But can you speak a little louder, please? Thank you.
Well, what did the broker say?
No change in the last hour.
What are you going to tell Mr. Kaufman about not selling?
I'm going to tell him the truth. Tell him that I talked to Jimmy's uncle and he isn't worried. And then I'm going to tell him I followed his other advice.
Which was what?
Don't make any decisions till you sleep on it. Now, if a line of poetry is in pentameter, how many feet does that line have? Helen?
5.
Right. Now, if it's in hexameter, Bernie?
It's gotta be 6.
Correct. Thank you.
Miss Johnson, you know, another interesting thing about that operational analysis of Walt Whitman, it says that the average faculty member spends 1 to 7 hours a month either making personal phone calls or waiting to make them. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I was going to call the brokerage to see how Will Groco closed today.
Miss Johnson, look, take my advice. Once you sell a stock, forget about it. Don't worry about it anymore. All right. Come into my office. I'll make the call for you out of morbid curiosity. Simon? Seymour. Your brother-in-law, Simon. How many Seymours do you know? Get your head out of the Dow Jones. I'd like to ask you a question, please. What was the closing quotation on Will Groco, please? Will Groco. Thank you. 11 and a half?
11 and a half.
What are you so happy? You didn't take my advice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaufman, but I'm not sorry.
Sell!
No!
You can't.
If you sell now, we can get all our money back and buy the encyclopedia.
We're not selling for any encyclopedias.
We're given a new intercom.
Or even something bigger.
Bigger?
Look who's joined the Bulls.
Gonna be a capitalist, Jason?
Man, the way Will Coco's moving, who knows? I might even vote to get us one of them air purifiers and an intercom.
Wait a minute. I share your enthusiasm, but let's be realistic.
Shoot. Miss Johnson, we can't sell now. We gotta hang in there. If there's one thing I know, it's when you're hot, you're hot.
Hi, fellas.
Mr. Dixon.
What's the problem, Larry?
We want to call our broker to find out how our stocks are doing.
So?
We don't have a dime.
We got bigger coins, man.
Well, I chip in a dime.
Thanks, Mr. Dixon.
We'll pay you back.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not going to think of it as a loan. I'm thinking of it as an investment.
An investment? In what?
Your education. Well, it's up another 2 points.
How many shares have you bought?
Oh, I never play the market. I just give people good advice like you do.
You'll never get rich, Pete.
I'll never get ulcers either. You know, you sound pretty hot on this Will Groco stock.
Well, Pete, maybe we're too conservative. Maybe these kids know something we don't know.
Maybe. But all I had in mind was a little classroom experiment, like what it's like to lay your money on the line.
So? They did.
Yeah, but I hate to see them get hurt. They worked hard for that money.
Pete, I mean, the school is going to get a new intercom.
I hope so.
You hope so?
What's wrong?
I don't feel too hungry anymore.
I think we should sell.
Oh, come on, man.
My uncle says it's easy to lose sight of why you went into the market in the first place.
To buy an intercom.
I say let's sell and buy it.
But we could buy something bigger.
Look, man, we could buy clean air for this school. All we need is a little more time.
I've got a suggestion. Why don't we sell enough of the stock to buy the intercom? And then we'll have enough in the market left for speculating. And later...
I'm for that.
4-2, Brother Bull. Looks like we're outnumbered.
Shoot.
Before we start class, Miss Johnson has a few words she wishes to share with you.
It's about the stock.
No air purifier.
No intercom?
No encyclopedia?
I'm afraid not. I couldn't sell the stock.
Why not?
Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission had complaints about possible illegal manipulations of Will Groco's stock. So, pending an investigation, they've frozen it.
We can't get our money out?
For how long?
Nobody knows. Weeks, months. In this case, maybe never. I'm sorry. But I thought you ought to know right away.
Hey, man, it's a good thing this room is no higher than the second floor.
The gift from the junior class to Walt Whitman High.
45 shares of Will Groco. Worthless.
Or worth more than $1,000. And only time and the SEC will tell.
That's what you're smiling about?
Well, I think it's been a very valuable educational experience.
You can say that again.
Then why aren't you smiling?
The following students will report at 1:30 to the athletic field. Hawley, Jackson, Engels, Locke, and Merritt. This announcement will not be repeated.
When the Civil War ended, there were still 15 million buffalo on the Western Plains.
By 1885, how many were there?
Gee, less than 1,000.
What happened to all those millions?
4,000 of them were killed off when they were scouting for the railroad.
And that was in one 18-month period.
Man, that was a funky deal.
That's a perfect example of the value of knowing history. We can learn from our mistakes. For instance, lessons of history can be meaningful to the present-day ecology. Eddie, what did I just say?
Oh, Mr. Dixon, I was off somewhere.
Well, if you're not going to pay attention, you might as well not be in class.
Yeah.
I said that knowing history can sometimes help us in the present day.
I guess.
But the problem is that we sometimes ignore those lessons. Thank you. Eddie, Mr. Kaufman would like to see you. You better take your books with you because class is almost over. Eddie, read chapter 17 tonight.
Okay, Mr. Dixon.
Hi.
A present for me?
No, a compass. I'm taking it out to Fred Buchanan at the airport.
I was close.
Listen, Mr. Kaufman sent for Eddie Simpson. Do you know what he wanted?
He's being transferred to Fillmore.
Why?
Well, we thought maybe a change in schools would stimulate his interest, or the lack of it.
Do you really think it'll do any good?
Nothing else has.
You know, I've never been able to find the key to that kid.
Neither has anybody else. Pete, look, you can't get emotionally involved with every student.
Yeah, guess you're right. Well, see you later.
Okay, I'll be here.
Hi, Pete. Hi, Liz. Hi. Hey, have you ever tried health food?
No.
Oh, of course not. Why would you need it?
You don't need it either.
Oh, Miss Portnoy thinks I do.
Miss Portnoy needs it.
Eddie? Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon. I'm not bothering with chapter 17 because I'm going to a new school.
I know, but that isn't going to happen for a few days.
Well, it might as well wait until I get there. Maybe they ain't going to do chapter 17.
Well, if you look at it that way, going to a new school isn't going to make any difference either.
It ain't.
Eddie, what have you got against learning?
I don't have nothing against it, Mr. Dixon. I just don't have nothing for it.
I'd like to talk to you. I got to take a ride out to the airport. Would you like to come along?
I ain't got nothing but time.
I had a passenger when I came here. Oh, there he is.
Hey, he shows a little interest.
I wish he would show that much interest in his classwork. Well, I'll see you.
Thanks for bringing the compass.
My pleasure. Oh, what do you think? This belongs to a friend of mine, Fred. He runs the flying school here.
Do he ever take you up for a ride?
I take myself out.
You fly?
Yeah, I fly.
You're a pilot?
Yeah, I'm a pilot. Want to take a look inside?
Sure.
Come on.
Why did you learn to fly?
In college. Worked and scraped up enough money to take lessons, and eventually I got my license.
Well, do you got an airplane?
Oh, no, I can't afford one. I rent one, or Fred lets me use this one. Come on.
Wow, look at that machinery. What's that little dealie right there with the airplane inside?
That's a artificial horizon. Tells you how steeply you're climbing or banking.
There's another one. Is that the same thing?
No, that's a turn coordinator. Gives you a standard rate turn.
Wow.
You ever been up in an airplane?
Oh, sure. When I want to get out of town for the weekend.
Would you like to go up sometime?
Sure. When?
Well, if I can get an airplane, how about right now?
I ain't got nothing but time. Out of sight. What's that?
It's the altimeter. Tells you how high you are above sea level.
We're supposed to be flying to the mountains, and the mountain is 6,000 feet. And that thing says 3,000. Look out.
You don't fly at 3,000 feet if the mountains are 6,000.
But how do you know how high the mountain is?
It tells me on my map.
Man, they got it all figured out.
You're not doing so bad yourself.
Why'd you do it, Mr. Dixon?
Ain't he got enough trouble dodging these speed demons down here on the ground?
I apologize, Mr. Simpson. You're right. I shouldn't have taken your son up without your consent.
I assure you this would never happen again.
Man, you scared the sweat out of me. I sent Eddie to school to learn to read and write so he can get a job and stay out of trouble.
I can understand that. And while I'm sorry, in a way, I don't regret what I did.
That went by me, Mr. Dixon.
I don't get that either, Pete.
Well, when we were up in that airplane, for the first time I saw Eddie really interested in something. He was completely different than he is in school.
Well, how is he in school?
Totally disinterested.
You mean he don't pay attention?
That's right. And he's falling behind in all of his studies.
I'm afraid falling behind is putting it mildly, Mr. Simpson. Actually, we're transferring Eddie to another school in this district. You'll be getting an official notice soon. Hasn't he mentioned it?
No. All he talked about last night was that airplane. Why is he being transferred?
Well, sometimes a new environment helps stimulate a pupil. We thought that might be true in Eddie's case.
I like this school. Now, don't get me wrong. I came here to complain about that airplane ride. But I like you, man, and I think you're good for Eddie.
Thank you.
Mr. Simpson, if I could get Eddie really turned on to learning, no matter how, would you have any objections?
Mr. Dixon, I promised his mother before she died that I'd keep Eddie in school. Now, anything you men can do to help would be good, especially if you can keep him in this school. Mr. Kaufman? You're a real pilot, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Will you lay off of Eddie's transfer for a while?
Why?
Well, I've been doing a little research and, well, read this.
What is it?
It's a report on a program that took place in Richmond, California. A group of students, all underachievers, were completely turned around.
How?
Just read it. Look, I don't mean flight training for the kids, at least not to start. Ground school training will be enough.
Pete, one kid got turned on for one day.
Mr. Kaufman, you know, flying is like a contagious disease. If you hang around it long enough, it'll get you.
You read the report. You saw what happened when they started a program like this at Richmond.
Okay. Okay, I'll admit that impresses me. Mainly because, according to that report, there was improvement in all school subjects. But what happened to that program?
Ran out of money. Look, can't the school board allocate funds for special projects like this?
No, Pete, money is tight right now. You know that.
I'll take a dozen kids into ground school for free.
Free?
If the kids show real progress in their regular schoolwork, then you can ask for school funding for a flying program.
What have you got to lose?
What do we need to start?
Just some kids who want to do it.
And their parents' permission.
I'm glad you remembered that. One thing, Mr. Buchanan, may I ask why you're doing all this?
Well, just say I'm a nice guy.
I think you are.
Does that mean okay?
On one condition, that I, Seymour Kaufman, never be expected to go,
It's going to be on your own time after school and on Saturdays for about 10 weeks.
How soon do we get to fly?
Well, you won't be doing any flying in this program.
Why not?
It's just a ground school.
Well, how about later?
Later, we hope to get funding from the school board for flight training. Anybody want to drop out now?
What's the catch?
If there is a catch, I don't want to hear it.
There is no catch, Bernie, but there is a reason. We think that this program will help you do better in school.
You see, part of the idea is for you to see the value in courses you don't think are worthwhile now.
Any other questions? What's the matter, Chris?
Ear's sick. Somebody get a wastebasket. Here you go, Miss Dixon. My first flight. What'd I do wrong?
Thrust, lift, drag, and gravity. Now, which of these is most important to flight?
Lift.
Why, Bernie?
Without lift, you won't get off the ground.
And how is lift created, Eddie?
By air.
By air flowing over the wing of an aircraft as it moves forward.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I move this pointer through the air, am I creating lift?
That's not a wing.
What is a wing? Anyone?
A wing's an airfoil. It's designed to form a low-pressure area on top and a high-pressure area on the bottom, right?
Right. And how can lift be increased?
By increasing the angle of attack and by increasing the forward speed of the plane.
That's perfect, Chris.
Them other cats quicker than me, huh? Quicker isn't everything. I think the words are hanging you out.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do about it?
Learn them.
Hi.
Thinking about taking up flying?
That'll be the day. No, I just came out to see how it's going.
Great, great.
Pete, I am delighted to say that you were absolutely right about the school grades. 6 weeks and most of them have gone up already.
Will you submit the project to the school board now?
I already have.
And?
Alfred Kramer is coming out to take a look at what you're doing.
We might as well forget it.
Oh, come on, Pete. Kramer's not that bad.
The man thinks like an accountant.
That's because he's an accountant.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Dixon.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Kramer. I'm sure you'll see enough.
I'd like to say a couple of things before we go in.
What are they?
This sounds like an interesting project. I read that Richmond report.
You did? Good.
And we're tight for money.
Let's go in.
The word continental, when associated with an air mass, designates that the air mass may be found A, over an ocean, B, at high altitude, C, over land. All right. The winds aloft forecast gives the wind direction and velocity at altitudes above A, sea level, B, 2,000 feet, C, 10,000 feet. All right, that's the end of the quiz. You'll be happy to know that 9 of you got every answer right. Those of you who missed a few, I suggest you restudy your manuals tonight.
How do they know what they've missed?
Well, a wrong answer lights up on this side. Instantaneous grading and confidential.
That's very innovative.
Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, and when we get back, we'll get going on our flight computers, okay?
Mr. Buchanan, Alfred Kramer from the Board of Education.
How are you?
Very impressive, Mr. Buchanan.
Well, thank you very much. You know, they're really a great bunch of kids. If I didn't remember to call for a break, we'd never have one.
See you in a little bit.
Okay.
Visual aids, mechanical devices, it's a marvelous stimulant. I can see why they're doing so well.
The real point is that they're doing better in their regular school because of this class.
Yeah, I saw Kaufman's graphs. But to continue the program would be expensive. To expand it could be a fortune.
Doesn't it cost more in the long run when kids drop out or just drift through school without learning anything?
Well, I can't disagree with that. But there's just so much money. And most of it is committed to more meaningful areas.
Well, what should be more meaningful than getting young people to tap their potential?
Of course, but when you're talking about public education, you have to talk about broad-based programs.
Listen, Mr. Kramer, everything can't be broad-based. People are individuals and they have different needs.
You're personally involved in this, Mr. Dixon. You see it on a one-on-one basis. I can't look at it that way. I have to say, what's the real value of an aviation program?
It's a stimulation to learn.
I realize that.
Look, we're not trying to make pilots out of all of these kids. There are other jobs in aviation.
And related fields. I understand that, too.
You don't understand nothing. You don't know I was a flunk out till Mr. Dixon turned me on to this flight school.
I do understand that. What you must try to understand is that the relationship between you and Mr. Dixon is like between a doctor and a patient. It's very personal. Now, I'm the guy who runs the whole hospital. I have to look at the overall picture. Can't you understand that?
Yeah, I can understand that. And you know what it sounds like to me?
Eddie.
Well, it sounds like...
Eddie.
take it you agree.
I don't know what he was going to say.
My dear Miss Johnson, if you are not faithful to the program, how can you possibly expect to get any results?
Well, I tried, Miss Portnoy, but all the food that you said were so good for me, I didn't like.
Well, perseverance can lead
Look,
to an
I tried. I really did. And I failed. And I'm glad.
Yeah, but they can't treat these kids like yo-yos, send them out and yank them back.
I've driven all the way out here with you, listening to you nonstop. Now, are you ready to listen to me?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the purpose of the program? To turn the kids into flyers or to turn them on to their schoolwork?
Schoolwork.
That's what it did, didn't it? The grades are up, right? And aren't they connecting their schoolwork to real things?
Yeah.
So if they never get to another airport in life, they've learned something, probably a lot.
You know what I can't stand?
What?
A woman with all the answers. How come you know so much?
From hanging around you? I'll wait here.
Thanks. Eddie? Eddie? Why weren't you in class?
I heard about the school board decision. I blew it for us, huh, Mr. Dixon? For all the kids.
That's not true. There just wasn't enough money.
You think so?
I know so.
You're not jiving me, are you?
I'm giving it to you straight, Eddie. I'll get back in class.
Well, that's not much pointed now, is it?
Why not?
I mean, without the program, how am I going to learn to fly?
How bad do you want to?
You know how bad I want it.
Then get a job, washing planes, pumping gas, scrubbing floors, anything.
I guess I can do that. But
what?
Do you think they'll ever hire a black pilot?
Sit down, Eddie. You know, the times are over for that I'm black cop-out, because that's just what it is. It's an excuse not to try. I realize it's not easy, but if you're willing to give it everything you got, you can do anything you want to. Do you know how many black pilots there are?
No.
6,000 or 7,000. You ever hear of the 99th Pursuit Squadron?
No.
It was a fighter outfit that served in Italy during World War II. It was all black.
Yeah?
There are black corporate pilots, military pilots, airline pilots, like August Martin. He was killed piloting a Red Cross plane airlifting food to Biafra.
I didn't know that.
Now you know. And these guys had it a lot rougher than you do, and they stuck to it. There's one thing to remember.
What's that?
No matter how many black pilots there are, there'll be one less without you.
Okay, Mr. Dixon.
Well, you think Mr. Kaufman will show up?
I don't know.
James making no pressure upon her way. Yeah, just the same as airplanes.
Hi.
Hi. You're late.
I just had a call from Alfred Kramer before I left.
Spare me?
That's my expression. No, really, he wanted to tell me that he was very impressed with the program. And even though there's no money in the budget right now, he does want us to submit it again next term.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Let's go.
Oh, that's really what I came out here for. I want to tell you, changed my mind about going up.
Oh, Mr. Kaufman, the whole world is watching.
Why aren't those kids in school?
They are in school.
You're not really scared, are you?
Yes.